Start చేసాను సార్. ఇక్కడ స్టార్ట్ అయ్యి.
Okay, please go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. So this is Vishnu, a student of 2017 to 21 batch. So today we are all here to discuss about a very important and very uncalled for topic, which is life after BTech. We know that, and for some of you it might seem that it is very far ahead, or it might be up tomorrow, but it's approaching very rather quickly than we can imagine or we can even think. So how is it? What can we do to optimize it? What are our best approaches? How to put competitive coding ahead? What are our opportunities after the BTech? Let's discuss everything here. So that's why this session is called Insight from the Field. And I'm Vishnu, and this is a brief about me. As I've mentioned, I've passed out of the college around 4 years ago. After that, I have had some professional discourses with Morgan Stanley and TCS, where I've worked as a SD3. And prior to that, I have worked as a SD2 and also a junior developer. I was also a CAT rank holder with 99.72 percentile. And I've had some other stints, as you can see on the screen. And I was awarded Pride of the Institute in our year for the academics and co-curricular activities. So my expertise includes programming, quantitative aptitude, also a bits and pieces about government job domains, uh, and CAT specifically for the MBA journey, and also some info about Git. So I think that would be our boundary spanning during this meeting. Maybe we'll touch base on all these topics. So now let's maybe start with SD tips, because that is the most important thing for you guys, because ultimately that is where each and every one of us would like to head after this BTech, as AI or any other technology is a booming trend. So now, before even delving deep into the concept of software development engineer or SDE, let us discuss what is good as an SDE. So you guys might be confused regarding the number of fields or domains that are available beforehand to us. That is, some of you may say, hey, we want to become a data scientist, we want to become a full stack developer, we want to, no, we don't want to do any of that, we don't want to complicate things, I'll just become a tester. Some of you may say, hey, I'm good with dealing tons of data, so I'll kind of become a data engineer. Some of you may say, hey, maybe I like the understanding of database and operating systems well, I'll be a DB administrator. Or maybe I'm good with cloud computing, as in I don't want any programming, but I want some theoretical design structures that I can inculcate. All of these ultimately point to an SDE position if we look at a higher level rather than a grassroots level of things, because why aim low if we can actually go for a high? So maybe let's start jolting down and thinking of ourselves as HDEs, and then maybe we can delve down into each of the domains. Now, from each of the things I listed, one thing we can see is there are multiple domains and subdomains, and there can be multiple diversifications as well in the technical specifications that we do. But ultimately, the hiring process is one and the same for a fresher. So what is the hiring process? The hiring process is uh, quite common around all the companies or the major tech companies, and it would be less complicated as we go down the tiers of the companies. So according to me, it's not a usual market classification, but according to me, there are three tiers of companies. One, product based companies or tier one companies. Two, service based companies, as in there is TCS and so on, TCS, Wipro, Cognizant, and so on. And three, which I call them the tier two actually, are something like a non-product but domain specific companies like financial domain companies or any of the other companies which require programming. So some of the famous companies in such domains are Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, and so on. Now coming to product-based companies, there are a very known majors like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Atlassian, Facebook, Walmart, and we have already discussed about the service-based companies. Now let us see why do we want to work there before even getting to know about the roles and what are the perks of working at each places. Let's start from lowest to highest. So since salary is a good parameter for each and every one of us, maybe let's go from the lower salary ranges to the higher salary ranges. Now the companies that stand in the least salary ranges are those which are most commonly known to everyday public, that is Tata Consultancy Services, Wipro, and so on. The pays here would range from 3 lakhs to 10 lakhs at the maximum scale. And the work life over there is you'd be hired into the company, then you'll be having multiple cross-functional teams where you are closely associated with your clients and you'll be dealing with client specific requirements. As in, you are given a project where client decides the requirement, you'll just execute the requirement. Once the requirement is done, you'll move on to a second project and then a third project and so on until the requirements are done. So in these requirements as well, there are two types of requirements: maintenance or development. So the maintenance requirement is where the project never ends. This is a continuous cycle where you just need to be there, you need to support the project for an infinite cycle. Or there is development or productionized requirements where you need to be there, you need to finish a task or a feature, then you need to release it in the market and move out, and then go to a second project. So these are the two types of projects that are available in these service based companies. And there is no core innovation of such from their end, because it's all about uh, showing you, getting some money from the clients, taking their share, and giving you people rest of the money. So for example, if a company X gets rupees 10 from a client, they'd probably take rupees 5 and give you rupees 5. That's how these companies work. Now moving to the tier 2 companies, or non-product companies, which are basically non-technology, but they focus more on their product. Maybe let me take an example of Cash App, or let me take an example of Walmart. These companies are not technology centered, rather they are their own product centered. They have their own core product for which technology acts as a catalyst or a service. As in, so for example, if you are trying to buy goods from Walmart, maybe what you'll do is you'll go to their application, you'll simply search for the required products. But did you ever wonder, in their millions of SKUs, that is stock keeping units, how do you find your required product in your first search? This is all done by using search engine optimization techniques, wherein your queries are ranked as per the machine learning algorithmic predictions. And apart from that, there is also a tri-data structure which works behind the scenes, which would help give results to all these queries. And thus you'll see the result that you desire the most rather than everyone, because as I mentioned, the machine learning algorithm is trained as per your inputs, your prior inputs, along with the weights that are adjusted to general public. So now this is one example that you use in a tier 2 company, where you'll be working on a technology that is specific to their product. Now going to the tier 1 companies, which are core technological product companies. These are majorly Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Apple, Netflix, and so on, where technology is their main business. So if you take a classical example of YouTube, here everything is based on technology, right from the app to the hosting in cloud, or availability on Android and iOS and web. So as we can see, everything is technology centric. That's why these are called product technologies or tier 1 companies, and these pay the highest in this order. So
Vishnu,
now
I think the screen is not at shared. Only SD
Sir, I have shared only SD,
Okay, okay, okay,
like an abstract slide.
okay, okay.
Now, since we have three different nuances and three different types of opportunities, now the biggest question here is how to get into these companies. Because as you might be familiar with most of your seniors or even me as a case maybe, we were reaching into TCS or Wipro or Infosys or any other place, maybe service-based companies from the college level. But there is a way,
Yes.
or there are ways by which we can directly crack tier 2 and tier 1 companies, even at the college level, even before coming into your final years. That is, you can crack tier 1 companies in your third years and second years as well. Now, let us discuss about those ways and those paths forward so that maybe it would help in your careers. The best ways forward or the best resources forward are this is the so you people might have seen Geeks for Geeks as merely a tutorial place where you will be reading for your college semester exams or assignments and so on, but this is one of the best starting points where you can directly find programming questions that are tailored towards company specifications. Let me take you there. Let me log in with my Geeks for Geeks account and let's see what's happening over here. So as you can see, Geeks for Geeks actually has a programming score with our program number of problems solved, and there is also institution rank, and some other metrics. So this is our college. I used to be rank 1 when I was here, but if we see, there are people who kind of crossed me ahead and posted a better coding score. But ultimately, what I want to portray here is this is a very good starting point or a place from which you can start your programming, as the questions are from basic or school level, then moving towards easy difficulty, then medium to hard difficulty. So you can master different levels of programming questions tailored to company level. Now maybe let's look at the classification by company level so that you guys will get a better understanding. So as you can see on the left side, it clearly indicates companies in which the questions are asked. So what you can do is, these are all technology specific companies on the left. Every other coding platform majorly revolves around these technology companies. So these are your primary focus. And what you can do is, you can pick a specific company. You can get a sheet of the company. Then you will go for a topic specification that, hey, I want to move from this topic level to this topic level. After that, from each topic until you get the mastery, you will solve the questions for that company. Likewise, you solve the required number of questions, which is around 200 250 at the maximum. It's not, I mean, I'm saying it's the maximum because that is actually the required amount of questions that we need to solve to gain the expertise. It's not a hard stop because there are n number of companies to which you can apply. So what you can do is, you can select the company name, you can select the topic name. RS is a very generic topic, so you will find n number of questions, but maybe let's move on to linked list. So as you can see, for Amazon in linked list, these are the two questions that are asked majorly. If you solve these two questions, that means you are good with linked list topic for Amazon. Likewise, there are numerous questions that you can solve so that you can improve your understanding. And the ultimate goal is to solve as many as you can. But as I mentioned, GFG is a very, very basic platform to get this level of understanding. But to achieve full mastery in data structures and algorithms, ultimately you need lead code. Maybe let me move on to the lead coding part. So in lead code, as you can see, there are programming questions that you need to solve.
Vishnu, could you please explain how to log in it into lead code account?
Yes, sir.
Just tell
Maybe
me the
let me show
procedure how
you
to.
guys. Yes, sir. Maybe
Same
let me
way
show.
for
Yeah.
Greeks for geeks.
Yes, sir. So for logging into Geeks for Geeks, the process is quite simple. We just need to continue with Google. That will automatically register our account with Geeks for Geeks. After doing this, we can directly move on to the practice section, practice coding problems. There we can directly select any top DSA or SDE sheets, because software development engineer is where every one of us aim to go.
Okay.
Then we can go ahead, filter based on company level, and in the company level, specific question tags. And we can see that for this company, this target questions, these are the two questions that I have.
Whether they will provide solutions or we need to solve this.
There will be solutions as well, sir. If we look at this reverse linked list question,
Okay.
if I click
Whether
on
they will.
solve question,
Okay.
in the editorial, there is a direct solution.
Where?
In the editorial section,
Okay.
the entire solution is present. Also, solution videos are present directly.
Okay.
So they have all the resources they need for the basic level here.
Okay.
So even if we look at my submissions, so if they solve it, their submissions will be here, and they can refer their submissions from whenever they come back that they solved this on this particular date.
Whether they will provide any badges to this or for solving questionnaires.
No, sir. For this, they only provide the college rank.
Okay.
So as we can see, I'm currently ranked 5th, I guess, in the college. I used to be in the first place when I was solving these things.
Oh, nice.
There is some person called Charan who's solved many questions recently, I guess.
168. Okay.
So
Okay.
ranking is purely based on number of problems a person has solved.
Yes, sir. Ranking is purely based on number of problems a person has solved in this.
What about the time complexity of the solutions that you have submitted to the problems? Do they evaluate at that level?
They evaluate it for providing the result whether we solved the question or not, but they don't evaluate it for ranks or something else. That's why this
Okay.
platform is pretty basic.
Okay. If a solution is submitted, whether it is optimal or not, they don't bother. They just only look at the number of problems solved.
Yes, sir. They just look at only the number of problems solved.
Okay. Okay. The same is the case with lead code, or
No, sir. Lead code is very good in that perspective.
okay. Okay.
So
This platform is understood how they evaluate, how they rank the users.
Then go with lead code.
Okay, let us move on to lead code platform.
Please be explain how to log in lead code and how to create an account.
yes, sir. So if we click on sign up, there are two ways of signing up.
Vishnu, please tell me this URL for to log in into the lead code.
Yes, sir.
See, sorry to interrupt, URL and creating an account, those are the basic things that one can do. You can skip those things.
Okay, sir.
Directly focus on after creating an account, where a student has to start his practice sessions, how the evaluations will be.
Okay, sir. So this is a basic LeetCode account. They can directly sign up using their Google account. Now, once a fresh LeetCode account is created, there would be no submissions per person, no problem solved, and the rating would be 1400. That's the minimum rating given to any person on LeetCode platform. Now, how can they approach problems? When they go to this problems section, so prerequisite to LeetCode. So for anyone who wants to start with LeetCode, I'd say that it is mandatory for you people to solve at least 100 problems on Geeks for Geeks practice, because LeetCode is not easy, and LeetCode will break everyone who's trying to solve it. It demotivates us because the solutions are not straightforward, and the solution given to the problem is, or maybe not even understandable to a beginner. Those are the two major hurdles. So 100 problems in Geeks for Geeks is a prerequisite to LeetCode. Now moving on to LeetCode. So in the problems section, we'll see that there are a number of problems that we can directly solve. So how I prefer to solve the questions is, I'll directly choose a problem tag or topic tag. For example, I require problems on heap. I'll directly search for heap. These are the questions on predominantly on heaps and no other concepts there is. So initially I'll solve them. After solving these, then there is an option to basically choose from the tags that are present here, and these would have mixed questions. That is, it is not just on heap, it will have some other concept mix as well. So if we search for heap here, we can see that instead of the 2 or 3 questions that were displayed earlier, there are around 200 questions, and most of them are not just heap. Maybe the easy ones are just heap, but the medium ones and hard ones will need 2 or 3 other concepts to solve the heap problems as well. So that is how these are rated. And as soon as we master a topic, we can ultimately solve at least 20 to 30 questions here, 10 to 15 of the medium level, 10 questions of hard level, to get a good understanding of each concept. So how is this useful? Ultimately, these are the level of questions that are asked in Amazon, Microsoft, or any other company there is. So to crack actual SDE roles, this is the difficulty students are going to face. And maybe if we look at one of the problems there is, why did I go for this problem? This is like the most asked problem in recent times. So if we look at this, the question is just described to us in a very, very vague way. This is not, the question is not even given in this straightforward manner in the actual interviews. They'll give you a story that this is happening. So for this question, maybe what they'll ask in the interview is, they'll say, you are playing space station game where the space station is moving from destination X to destination Y. In each time unit, it moves a size k from left to right. You can see that from destination X to destination Y, there are some energy bars that you can collect and you can leave. So the energy bars you can collect from destination X to X plus 1 is given in this index. Each index represents this energy bar in destination point X to X plus 1. And each time you move, you cannot hold the previous destinations bars. And the space shuttle's length is some k. Space shuttle's length is some size k. So you can at most traverse k size energy bars, and you can consume one energy bar. Now, maximize the energy bar consumption is what they'll ask in a question. You have to interpret that this is sliding window maximum. You have to identify that the pattern is sliding window, and then you need to come up with a sliding window approach, which is more or less a 2-pointer based uh, optimal left-right sliding approach to ensure that you are getting the right approach to a given problem. So that is how we typically solve a lead code problem. And on a realistic estimate, initially the easy problems will take around half an hour, and with experience it would reduce to 6 to 7 minutes. A medium problem would initially take 40 to 50 minutes, and with experience it will come down to 15-20 minutes. And a hard problem may take 3-4 hours in the starting, and people might not even solve it with the optimized approach. Maybe the brute force approach itself will take 2 to 3 hours, but it will come down to 30-40 minutes with the optimized approach after getting a mastery. At an expertise level is where people can solve it in 30 minutes. So whoever can solve a hard problem in 40 minutes, they are ready for clearing Google interviews. That is the estimate or expectation here. And now it's not just about learning concepts. The actual game starts here, the competitive coding or competitive programming. So to know where you people stand in the country or in the world, you need to give contests. So contests happen every Saturday over Lead Code, or you can even go for Code Forces where contests happen every alternate day. But Code Forces is not realistic, as in the complexity is too high. It's not asked in actual interviews. So Lead Code is your go-to platform. So in Lead Code, every Saturday there are contests, and in the contest there will be 4 programming questions, and they'll be giving global ranks. So I myself has participated in around 10 to 12 contests, and as you can see, my maximum rating was around 1700, where I was ranked 300 something globally. So that is how we usually approach Lead Code and competitive programming, and we typically solve the questions. As you can see, I've solved around 410 questions. So this was this January, February was the phase when I was giving Google interviews. So hence you can see maximum solving from my side. And one thing I can say is after solving around 400 questions, I was ready for Google. So that is kind of the bare minimum number you guys also have to keep in your mind. 100 in Geeks for Geeks, 400 in Lead Code, then you can clear any tier 1 company there is on earth. But there is a big catch. Okay, I have solved 500 questions, 400 on Lead Code, 100 on Geeks for Geeks. Will the companies call me for their interviews? The answer is a big no, because we might have solved 500 questions, but since the companies are not on campus, the competition is very, very huge, and there is no direct path towards the interviews. That is where resumes and projects or domain specific challenges come in. Now, to get a call from any of the companies, we need a very, very good resume with at least 2 to 3 impactful projects. Only then we can say that we'll be getting call from a good company. For that, to prepare your resumes, there are multiple ways, but the best way that I could say, or I could even think of in recent days, is Overleaf. So in Overleaf, there will be predefined templates used by top software engineers. And using these templates, we can make our own resumes. So as you guys can see, I have my own template as well. So if we look at the resume I have made in the recent past, it kind of looks like this, where since I have work experience, I have highlighted my experience here, but usually that place is taken by education, our objective skills, education, then the projects that are made. And we can see that I have showcased 3 projects in 3 very, very different domains using 3 different programming languages to ensure that there is diversity in the academic background that we have. Thus, one thing I can say is that please don't stick to a single domain or single programming language, because people are expected to have multiple programming languages and multiple skill sets in our repertoire. As you can see, one of my projects was on Python, the other one was on Java, and the other one was on embedded systems, which is IoT, Arduino, and C language. Such is the expectations. And one core thing that I can say is this project was one from my college days. Two of them, these were the ones that I've implemented in much later stages of my career, but those helped me reach places, as in get shortlisted from very, very good companies. So having good projects is a key thing to leap forward in company shortlisting process. So 3 projects is the go-to, and also multiple technological skills. Now moving on to the skills part. We have talked about solving programming questions, but how is not. We also saw the how, as in how to approach a question. How do we understand a question? But by what is what we did not discuss. So to basically solve any programming question, we need a programming language expertise. And I highly recommend that everyone should at least know 2 programming languages as their key skill set, so that they have a backup or base for their interviews, and they can say that I'm a polyglot rather than being a uni programmer. So in my case, I have developed my expertise in Python and Java, and also I was good at JavaScript as well. So likewise, I'd urge you guys to to develop skills in at least 2 to 3 programming languages. Now, once we have the programming language knowledge, then we require the tools or the framework to actually build and implement a project. For that, on the backend level, for Java programmers or Java developers, Spring Boot is the go-to place where it's a one-stop solution for developing a full stack application. For Python programmers, it is made to develop a full stack application. So for Python programmers, there are multiple ways or multiple approaches in which they can approach their career. One is data science, the other one is data analytics, and also they can go as a full stack developer. So maybe let me start with full stack developer. For full stack developer, they require Flask and Django expertise, because that is the front end and back end domains there sits. And for a data scientist, they need to they require to learn machine learning algorithms, or ML ops, majorly by using pandas, numpy, skitlearn, and other open modules through which they can develop or further refine specific algorithms. For data analytics, they can go for specific analytical modules like numpy, keras, or uh, things like that. For so for JavaScript, for the backend module, JavaScript is also majorly full stack language. For the backend module, we majorly go for Node.js. So most of you people might have used Netflix, right? Netflix actually runs on Node.js in the backend and Query.js in the front end. So like that, as a full stack module as well, JavaScript is very, very useful. And one of the most recent technologies is Go language, and it was developed by Google and open sourced, and it is majorly used for multi-threading specific applications where you need runtime optimization of parallel programming. Now, since we have the framework and the language, then comes down the idea. The idea is basically to come up with a problem statement and how to implement it. So we already have a framework to implement it. Now, the biggest question is, where do we need to deploy the framework? Because ultimately you need a place to host the entire application that you have built. So for hosting, we majorly select cloud verticals, which are more or less AWS or Azure or GCP. And we cannot directly host any application on cloud. To host an application on cloud, we need the application to be a snippet or an image, which would be like a container inside which the entire code and functionality will grow. As in, the direct jar file cannot be deployed. So we'll create containers, which is again dealt with any containerization service like Docker or Kubernetes. You can choose any one of them, because ultimately both of them are parallels of each other. And now we have a place to host, we have an application, but let's say we have two applications, and inside those two applications we need to establish a communication. Then the best approach is to kind of establish a communication channel using any of the messaging queues present in the industry. And right now, the most technologically understood or wanted industry is Apache Kafka, because every other company there is uses Kafka. So if you have Kafka in your resume, you have a very high chance of shortlist from any of the companies, because Kafka is not just does not just act as a messaging queue, it also acts as a built-in database called State Store or RocksDB, as you can see. So ultimately, this is the roadmap for creating services and deploying the services. Now, maybe instead of manually deploying services, we can automate the service deployment using the DevOps tool that are shown here. And these are the concepts that are required to comprehend all these. And one major vertical that needs to be covered is REST API, because instead of establishing a channel or a pipe between multiple services, maybe we can directly establish an endpoint by which we can communicate to the services called REST API, where one service interacts with one other service by calling the endpoint or URL, as the case may be. So these are the industry standards that are required for everyone to know and to implement in their projects so that their resumes are shortlisted. So on a realistic timeline, all this project development should take you guys at least 2 to 3 months per project, and the skill building along with data structures and all the programming solving will take you people around let's say 7 to 8 months if you people do it in a faster scale, or maybe a year or year and a half if you guys normalize programming uh, per a moderate speed or one question per day. So that is how someone who's new to the industry can approach the SDE role, and that is how they can design their resumes or go ahead with the company selection and so on. So if you guys go for the higher goal, that is SDE role, it is guaranteed that at least people will crack a normalized or tier 2 company rather than going for tier 3 companies, uh, from where they'll need to again grow in the ladder, take some time, and then go for a higher roles. So that is all about the SD roles or how to clear an SD position.
Can you see, you discussed about the skills as well as the projects. What are the other sections? Education, details. What other sections are there in your resume?
Let me move back, sir. So I have discussed about
Skills.
skills. I have discussed about projects. Freshers will not have experience, so I've skipped the experience part.
Okay.
But something that I want to highlight in experience is internships. Internships play a very key role in a student's career. So each and every student should or must get a very good internship experience where they have worked at least on one project hands-on at a team level, so that they'll get a good understanding of how the industry works rather than how the project works. The other ones are
for getting good internships. See, the first thing that one as a student, if they want to apply for an internship, obviously they will look at the skills, technical skills. And apart from the technical skills, see, you mentioned so many skills at the beginning, no?
Yes, sir.
How the company will shortlist? See, everyone will list, keep so many things in their skills section. How can we convince a company that we are really good at these skills so that our resume will be shortlisted for internship?
Sir, so
I think. Please go ahead.
As you're mentioning, to convince a company,
My question is.
Yes, sir.
Vishnu,
Please
can
go
you
ahead.
listen to me?
Yes, sir.
My question is, normally students, they will mention so many skills in their resume.
Yes, sir.
So what the employers will do is they only look for a what do you call most authoritative resume where the candidate convincingly showcase their strengths.
Yes, sir.
So instead of just mentioning the skills, will it be good to mention, say, lead code rank or lead code badges as a proof of their problem solving skills? Why you
Yes,
haven't done like that?
Sir, I used to mention that in my fresher point of resume, but at this level, it is normalized that everyone who mentions data structures will have solved that. That is why I haven't mentioned, because that point does not add any value to my resume anymore.
At least you can give what do you call at least you can give the URL to your profile page
Yes,
so
sir. I
that
did that. The first thing is my lead
they
code.
can get an idea how good you are in these skills. They can assess even before they shortlist.
Yes, sir. The first thing even I have given on my profile is my lead code URL. The second thing I have given out is the projects that I've done using my GitHub URL.
Yeah. So our GitHub profile and our lead code profile should convince them that the candidate is really good and this particular resume should be shortlisted for internship.
Yes, sir.
Is that the right way to convince the employer for shortlisting our resume?
Yes, sir. That is the right way and that is the most accurate way.
Because everyone will mention so many skills, but they should get convinced, no?
Yes, sir. There are only two major differentiating points in a person's profile if they want to be convincing. One is the strength of the projects that they mention. As you can see,
that will be showcased by their GitHub profile. Hello.
Hello, Vishnu, are you there?
Hello.
There's an issue on it, sir.
లేదండి ఈ screen is visible.
Screen is visible only, but video screen is somewhat. Vishnu,